vaccination and deworming protocols in goats. So before discussing the vaccination and deworming protocols, I would first like to discuss what is vaccine. What is vaccine? So we know that the vaccine is the important tool in disease prevention. And the goals of the goal of vaccine is to improve the health status of the animals. We know that if we vaccinate our animals, they will be protected from the diseases. So we are not, by vaccinating the animals, we are protecting our animals from the infectious agents. Okay, and also at the same time, there'll be increase in the productivity of animals. So if our animals will be healthy, we can get maximum produce out of them. Number three is that by vaccinating our animals, we are preventing the transmission of diseases from animals to humans. We know that there are a number of zoonotically important diseases that transmit from animals to humans. So if we vaccinate our animals, we are indirectly preventing disease in the humans. This is what is all about One Health concept, which says that we cannot take animal health and human health in isolation. They are interrelated. If we want to prevent the disease in the humans, we have to prevent the disease in animals first. Another goal of vaccination is that if we vaccinate our animals, they will not be suffering from the diseases. Means that we will not be using the antibiotics. We know that presently there is menace of an antibiotic resistance. We are indiscriminately using antibiotics in the field. So if our animals are healthy, we will not be using the antibiotics. So in other words, we are slowing down the use of antibiotic. We are slowing down the antibiotic resistance. This is very important this time. Next is that what vaccines are. I want to discuss what vaccine. We know that it was Edward Jenner who first discovered the smallpox vaccine and then protected the humans against the dreaded diseases. We know that the vaccines, they are the biological preparations. We prepare vaccines from the pathogens itself. Whether it is a whole pathogen, we kill the pathogen, whether it is live, whether it is attenuated, whatever, or it is products like toxins, we incorporate those biological products in the vaccine. So if the vaccine is given to prevent the disease, it's called prophylactic vaccine. And if it is used to treat the disease, it's called therapeutic vaccine. So prophylactic vaccine prevents the animal from the disease, while as the therapeutic one, it treats the animals. It cures the animals if it is suffering from the diseases. And vaccines can be given in any form. It can be given in liquid form, injection form, and via different routes: nasal, oral, subcutaneous, different routes. So what no vaccines does, when we administer the vaccine into the animal, or when we vaccinate our animals, what happens? Basically, it stimulates, it boosts the immune system. When we administer the vaccine, what is a vaccine? It contains the components of the pathogen, either whole or kill it. So what it does, it stimulates the humoral immunity and the cell-mediated immunity. So we know that the humoral immunity, it is a wing of the immune system that produces antibodies and eliminates and neutralizes the pathogen. Similarly, the cell-mediated immunity, whether T-cell mediated immunity, basically it has two wings: T helper 1 response, T helper 2 response. The main aim is to produce cytokines and stimulate the phagocytic cells, and eliminate the pathogen, whatever it is. So when we give the vaccine, this system is stimulated, and the memory cells are produced, whether T memory cells or B memory cells. They are produced in the host. And when the second time the pathogen is encountered, the pathogen enters second time, when the real pathogen enters the body, it encounters the immune system. So what happens? It basically, the memory cells already present, they proliferate and they eliminate the pathogen very efficiently and in a shorter span of time, so that our animals, they are not suffering from the disease. This is the mechanism how this vaccine protects the animals from the diseases. So as I said, there are different types of vaccines. One is the live attenuated vaccine. Live attenuated vaccine. Another is inactivated vaccine. There is a recombinant vaccine. There is toxoid vaccine. So about a live attenuated vaccine, we know that if we have a pathogen, okay, it is inactivate the vaccine. That means that we just decrease its virulence. We passage it through the cell culture, or we treat it we give the suboptimal conditions so that its virulence is reduced. It is live, but its virulence is reduced. Then we can add the adjuvant, and this is called live attenuated vaccine. The second one is inactivated vaccine. We actually just isolate the organism, and then we kill it, whether chemicals or thermally, we kill it. and add adjuvant. This is called inactivated or killed vaccine. Then the third one is a recombinant subunit vaccine. We know that we have a particular antigen or immunogen. If we isolate the gene and then clone that gene in a plasmid and then put it in the cell, that cell will express those proteins. So we will be getting a lot of protein. Then we harvest the protein, and the protein is added. This adjuvant is added to the protein. This is called recombinant or subunit vaccine. Then another vaccine type of vaccine is a subunit vaccine. Toxoid vaccine. This toxoid, we know that these bacteria, they produce exotoxins, endotoxins. These exotoxins, they are then added. The certain chemicals are added, like formalin. They are converted to toxoid, and they added to adjuvant is added. This is called toxoid vaccine. For example, tetanus toxoid. So there are different types of vaccines that are in use in the field. Next is the disease of the goat. We know that there are many diseases of goat, but I have selected few which are important. Well, first is anthrax. Another is hemorrhagic septicemia is there. Antialimatic is there. Blackwater is there. PPR, which we call goat plague, it is there. Goat pox is there. Another is CCPP, that is contagious caprine pneumonia is there, and brucellosis is there. They are important diseases that are affecting our goat industry. So first, before discussing these diseases, I would like to say that the different routes through which we vaccinate or we administer drugs to our animals. So in case of goats, not only goats but other livestock as well, if we want to vaccinate them, the two major routes are subcutaneous route and intramuscular route. But you can see here in the picture, first and second, the goats are being vaccinated via the subcutaneous route. And in the third picture, this is deep intramuscular route. But the main routes are subcutaneous and intramuscular. There are also different routes, but the main are these two. Now, coming to the bacterial disease of goat, the first important bacterial disease is Endotoxemia. Basically, this is disease caused by Clostridium perfringens. These Clostridium perfringens, they are having 5 toxinotypes: toxin A, B, C, D, and E. Depending upon the toxin they produce different toxins. Say alpha toxin, beta toxin, gamma toxin, delta toxin. They produce different types of toxins. And Endotoxemia is caused in sheep and goats by type C and D, and type D particularly in case of goats. You can see here the picture in the microscope. This is gram-positive bacteria. You can see the rod-shaped bacteria. This is Clostridium perfringens type D, responsible for causing endotoxemia in goats. So you can see this vaccine. This vaccine is produced, particularly basically the culture. This vaccine is produced when the bacteria grows in a medium, say in a broth culture, and then this bacteria, it produces toxins, say epsilon toxin, and then this whole toxin as well as the bacterial culture, they are killed by using formalin. Toxin will be converted to toxoid and the bacteria will be killed. And then we add the adjuvant, either oil-based adjuvants are there, aluminum hydroxide-based adjuvants are, and this is all about the vaccine. Now, important thing here is that we have to vaccinate our kids when they are 4 months of age. This is very important. But those kids whose dams or dose, they are already vaccinated. If they are vaccinated prior to 1 month of their parturition, so then at those kids born from those dams, they are vaccinated at 4 months of age. But those dams or those who are not vaccinated, who have not been vaccinated against the disease, then immediately those kids are vaccinated within the first week of birth. This is very important. So we should always vaccinate our dams or those prior to parturition, 1 month before parturition, exactly 1 month before parturition, so that the antibodies, they will be produced and the antibodies will go into the colostrum and they will protect our kids for these 4 months. Otherwise, if you will not vaccinate these does and you will not vaccinate the kids, they will suffer from the endotoxemia, and it causes huge mortality in the field. So the booster dose is you have to vaccinate. The dose is 2 ml subcutaneous, and the booster dose is given after 21 days. And this vaccine is given preferably before monsoon, preferably in the month of May. This is and the vaccine that are available in our country. This is Raksha ET, endotoxin vaccine, and the vaccines, they are also available, which we can administer our livestock or these goats. The next disease is Blackwater. Blackwater is again caused by Clostridium, but different species. Clostridium issuei. You can see here in the picture these are gram-positive small rods of Clostridium ischiae. They are endospore producing, of course. Normally, these cattle, they are affected by this disease. Cattle aging between 6 months to 3 years, they are mostly susceptible, but goats can also get affected. And the disease is sporadic. You will not find the disease in the form of outbreaks. There will be 1-2 cases you will found. But if the areas, if we in particular areas of our country, if we get reportedly these cases, where these cases are reported every year, then we need to vaccinate our livestock in those regions. So we have different vaccines available. One is a separate Blackwater vaccine. Another one is Raksha Triovac. This is available in India, in our country. So it will protect our livestock, our goats, against 3 dreaded diseases like FMD, HS, and BQ as well. So we have a Raksha Triovac that will give protection against 3 diseases, and we have also separate Blackwater vaccine. And important thing is that this vaccine contains this strain, bacterial strain of Clostridium ischiae, strain 49. This is a virulent strain that is incorporated in this vaccine. And we all know that this whenever our goats and kids, they ingest these spores from the soil, and then these spores are taken into the intestines, and from intestines and liver. And macrophages, the immune cells, they take up these spores from the intestines and liver and deposit it there in the tissue. And when there is a damage to the muscles, okay, or when there is excess of exercise or anaerobic conditions are created in the muscles, these spores, they germinate, they form vegetative cells, they multiply, and they produce toxins. And then toxins, particularly the muscles, gluteal muscle is there, loin region, loin muscles, and shoulder muscles, they are mostly affected, and they cause myositis. It is very painful condition. So these, we need to vaccinate our animals. If we are getting the cases, regular cases from the field, we need to vaccinate our kids against the diseases. So age of vaccination is 6 months in case of kids. Then you have to give the booster dose after 6 months. And then annual vaccination is done. So you have to vaccinate every year, particularly in those areas where the diseases reported repeatedly. Now coming to another third disease, that is anthrax. We know that this anthrax is a very dangerous disease. It not only affects the goats and our livestock, but it affects the human. It is zoonotically important disease. And you can see here that in picture, this is gram-positive rod, and these are arranged in chains. You can see these bacillus anthrax bacilli. They are arranged in chains. And as per the World Organization of Animal Health, OIE, they have categorized this bacteria as risk group 3 organism. Means that you cannot handle this organism in an ordinary microbiology laboratory. You need sophisticated laboratory. BSL facility should be available to handle this organism. This is very important. And then you can say these vaccines, normally, I will tell you one thing, that if you get the case of anthrax, if you get a case of anthrax, you should do immediately 3 things. You should quarantine your farm. Quarantine is very important. Second, you should vaccinate the in contact animals or the healthy animals. Thirdly, all the equipments, instruments, they should be destroyed. And you should disinfect whole farm with either 10% formalin or sodium hydroxide. It is very important. Then coming to this vaccine. So this is a stern spore vaccine. It is available here in the market. Okay, we can this spore vaccine, basically this stern spore vaccine is live attenuated, but it will not cause disease in our livestock, in goats or in humans. This is attenuated vaccine. It does not contain the gene, capsular gene. So that is it is removed from that strain. Okay, so it is not a pathogenic strain. It is attenuated. Its virulence has been reduced. Okay, then we can 1 ml of this vaccine contains around 10 million spores. So in case of our kids, we have to vaccinate them with only 0.5 ml of this vaccine. So means that it contains 5 million spores only. And the route is subcutaneous route in case of sheep and goat. We have to vaccinate our kids when they are at 6 months old. And then annual vaccination is done, particularly in the affected areas where because these spores, they remain in the soil for prolonged time, particularly in those areas where the soil is rich in calcium, where the soil is alkaline, where the soil is having high moisture content, where the soil is having high nitrogen content. In those soils, these spores, they remain viable for a prolonged period of time, and we will get cases every year when our livestock grazes or feeds there. These spores, they enter and then they cause anthrax. The third important disease is hemorrhagic septicemia. You can see here clearly in picture that this is called Pastula multocida. This disease is caused by bacteria called Pastula multocida. You can see here the safety pin appearance of the bacteria. This is Cocobacilleri under 1500 magnification, X magnification. These bacteria, they are like safety, they give safety pin appearance. They have a safety pin appearance. Okay, this mostly this hemorrhagic septicemia, it is the main disease of cattle and buffalo. Number one, buffaloes are mostly infected, but goats, reports that goats are also infected with this disease. So as I said, that there is a vaccine called Triovac. It covers all the three buried diseases like FMD, like HS, hemorrhagic septicemia. So we can use this vaccine in the field. So our goats can also get infected by this. This vaccine, the strain that is used is Pasturella multocida P52. This is the strain that is incorporated in the vaccine, and then the gel, and then this aluminum hydroxide is an adjuvant that is added to it. So the dose will be 2.5 ml subcutaneously for sheep and goats, and then the age of vaccination will be 6 months for kids, and the booster dose is given after 1 month to stimulate the immune response. And then you have to vaccinate annually, but preferably before monsoon, because in the monsoon seasons there will be you will find more number of cases during monsoon season. So in order to prevent that, you have to vaccinate before monsoon. So this is hemorrhagic septicemia. So we have a separate vaccine is available in the market in the name of hemorrhagic septicemia vaccine IP, or you can give Raksha Triovac, which covers all the three diseases. Coming to the next disease, that is contagious caprine pleuropneumonia. I will be telling one thing. This is very important disease. This is very important disease. You can see here that I have also worked on this bacteria. Basically, you can see here in the picture. This is a fried egg appearance of the colony on PPLO agar. This is PPLO agar, and these are the colonies of this Mycoplasma capricorn subspecies capri pneumonia, which is the causative agent of this contagious caprine pleuropneumonia. So I'm telling this, basically this disease is more in the goats, particularly those goats which live in the temperate regions. For example, we have here in the Union Territory of Ladakh, those Changpas or Changtang area, they rear these Pashmina goats for the Pashmina. They are dependent upon those goats economically. So, so I have seen that during the winter months, the temperature dips to -20, -30 degrees centigrade, and they have to keep these sheep indoor. And it has been seen that more number of cases they are reported in the winter, and number of these Pashmina goats die because of this contagious caprine pleuropneumonia in those. And these farmers, they are dependent upon those Pashmina goats, and they are hit badly economically. They are very hit. By when these sheep die because of contagious caprine pleuropneumonia. I have seen myself these cases. And the bad thing is that in India, we don't have any vaccine available against this disease. Our division here in the veterinary medicine, they have formulated the vaccine, and that is under trial. They are just isolating this mycoplasma locally, and then just killing it using sonication, and then adding the adjuvant. So this vaccine is under trial, but commercially no vaccine is available, and this is the very dangerous disease in case of goats. Not only the temperate regions, but also in tropical regions or subtropical regions, this disease is present there. And mostly we treat this disease by using tetracycline drugs, antibiotics like tetracycline. So no vaccine is available, and we need to work in this direction as well. Then another disease of goats is brucellosis, and we know that there are a number of species. You can see here. I'm telling you, this is the Cocobacilleri brucella. This under microscope, oil immersion. This is a Cocobacilleri rods. So this is the disease that is caused by this, in goats. The disease, the main causative agent is Brucella militensis. There are a number of species of Brucella. So you can say Brucella abortus, Brucella neotomi, Brucella militensis, Brucella suis canis. They have a number of biotypes, but Brucella militensis is the most dangerous. It's the most pathogenic species of the Brucella, and it infects the goats. And from goats, it can cause mild fever in case of humans. So it is a zoonotically important disease. And the bad thing again is this, that vaccine is available in the world. In Switzerland, Spain, the vaccine is available, Rev1. We have here cotton strain 90 for cattle or RB51. But Rev1 is specific for this brucella militensis. And unfortunately, we don't have any vaccine in our country, no commercial vaccine available. Even though Indian Immunological Hyderabad, they claim that we have this vaccine. But I have checked it, no vaccine is available commercially in the field. So if you want to vaccinate your animals, you have to procure it, you have to import it from the other countries like Switzerland and Spain. And you can see here this CZVRV1. This is Switzerland vaccine. This is from Switzerland. And if you want to, they vaccinate their kids, their female kids at 2 months of age. The route is subcutaneous, 1 ml intramuscular, and then they annually vaccinate their animals. In India, we don't have. We vaccinate again our cattle with cotton strain 90, but for goats, no vaccine is available. This is all about the bacterial disease of goat. Now coming to the viral disease, there are 3 important viral disease of goat. One is PPR. You can see here, this is the structure of this viral disease. This virus, it belongs to genus Morbillivirus. This belongs to genus Morbillivirus. Family is Paramyxoviridae. Okay, this is very close to the render pest that has been eradicated from India in cattle. This is very close relative of that. So this is also called goat plague, synonymous. The disease is also called goat plague. In India, we have a vaccine, again is this PPR, that the strain that is incorporated in the vaccine is PPRV Sungri 96 strain. We have this strain, this is commercially, we have a commercially available vaccine. In the name, the trade name is Raksha PPR. Again, we give this vaccine subcutaneously. The dose is 1 ml, and age of vaccination is 3 months. My important thing is that we have to vaccinate only once in a 3 year. This gives protection. If you vaccinate your kid, vaccinate kids at the age of 3 months, this will protect you against the disease for the period of 3 years. So the period is long. Another important disease is goat pox. You know that recently there was an outbreak of lumpy skin disease in our country. And this goat pox vaccine, it was used against because they are very closely related. They are having 70 to 80% homology. So this vaccine was used to protect our livestock cattle from the lumpy skin disease. So this goat pox is a very dangerous disease of the goats. It is contagious and spreads via the aerosol or when the animals are in contact. Also, vectors like flies, they transmit this disease to goats. All ages and all goats of all ages breeds, they are affected. There is no breed that is resistant to this disease. All the breeds are susceptible. All the ages of goats, they are susceptible to this disease. And you can see that morbidity is 100%, and mortality can go up to 85%. It means that is huge. Mostly the goats, they die because of pneumonia. You can see they have these pustules and papules. They are present around the mouth, beneath the tail, in the axillary region, and then mostly the animal dies, the goat dies because of this pneumonia. So in our country, the vaccine is available. Raksha Goat, it's Indian Immunological Hyderabad, they manufacture this vaccine. We vaccinate our these animals when they are 3 months old, and then revaccination annually. So we have to vaccinate using 1 ml of this vaccine subcutaneously, and then we have to revaccinate our animals annually. This is goat pox vaccine. Last this disease of goat is it is FMD. We know that FMD is another important disease. It affects all the ruminants, whether it is a cattle, it is sheep, it is goat, buffalo, all are very susceptible to this disease. And this is a viral disease. The virus belongs to the genus Athos of family Picornaviridae. This virus is the smallest of all the viruses. And we know that there are 7 serotypes of these viruses: O, A, C, Asia1, SAT1, SAT2, and SAT3. And till 1995, 4 serotypes of this virus were circulating in our country: O, A, C, and Asia1. And due to vaccination and other things, serotype C was removed, was eliminated from the population, from the ruminant population. Now, presently, we are using trivalent vaccine. Earlier, we were using quadrivalent vaccine containing O, A, C, and Asia1. Now, presently, we are using only trivalent vaccine, that is containing O, A, and Asia1 serotypes. So under this foot and mouth disease control program that is going on in our country, all the 733 districts that they will be covered, and all animals, even cattle, buffalo, sheep, they will be vaccinated under this program. They will be vaccinated. The huge mass campaign will be carried out. The awareness programs will be carried out under this control program. Monitoring will be serological tests will be done. So a lot of things will be done under this FMD control program. So presently, this vaccine is available. Number of vaccines, as I said, that we have a Raksha Triovac. Right, it also contains FMD antigens, and also separate is FitVac. This is available in our country. So we can vaccinate our goats when they are 4 months old, say with 0.5 ml in case of kids and 5 ml in case of adult goats. Then we vaccinate them in twice in a year. It means that we can vaccinate after 6 months. If you vaccinate right this time, then you have to again vaccinate after 6 months against this disease. The strains which are incorporated against in this vaccine is, you can see here, against O India OR275. This is for serotype O. A India A42,000. It is against serotype A, and Asia 1 India Asia 16372. It is against Asia 1. These are 3 serotypes that are incorporated in the vaccine. Coming to the this is all about the diseases that were bacterial and the viral diseases that are affecting our goat industry. Now coming to the another topic, that is deworming protocol in goats. The deworming protocol in goat, regarding deworming protocol in goats, we know that we must know that there are different types of internal parasites or endoparasites that are affecting our these livestock. These are flukes, say we call them termitodes. These are roundworms, we call them nematodes, and tapeworms like cystodes. You can see here in this picture, this is the picture of Fasciola hepatica. This is a fluke, and another fluke is Dicrocilium dendriticum. This is another fluke. You can see here the white color. These are cystodes. It's a tapeworm. This is a roundworm, and you can see here a goat affecting this tapeworm cystode, and this cystode is hanging from the rectum. You can see it clearly. The how much it is, how much it affects our livestock. These parasites and internal parasite. General symptoms will depend upon the type of parasites infecting the animal and the number of parasites. Generally, there will be if there's a huge parasitic infestation, there will be diarrhea. Their body condition will be very low. There is loss in the body condition, poor body condition. You can say anemia, because they will utilize all the nutrients. Whatever you feed them, it will not be utilized properly. These parasites, they will feed everything. The animal will be anemic. So feed conversion will be very poor. So it means that you will have to give more food to your livestock than required. So it will be put more economic burden on you. Then bottle jars, there will be hypoproteinemia, because they will be feeding on it. There will be hypoproteinemia. There will be bottle jar. Fluids will be edema. Fluid will be everywhere in the body, below the mandible. There will be poor growth. Abortions will be there. Lower production. Mortality will be there. So in general, I would say there will be a poor farm productivity, because if there will be internal this parasite infestation in our livestock, it will affect the productivity. The productivity in terms of milk, productivity in terms of body growth. So we know that prevention is always better than cure. So we should use following approach. So we have to, if we want to prevent the parasitic infestations, we have to adopt the good management practices. Our farm should be clean, number one, and then we have to approach this periodic and strategic deworming. This is very important. Periodic and strategic. I will explain both of these. Secondly, there should be to control the repeated infestation, parasitic infestation. We have to go for this rotational grazing. This is very important to control the repeated infestation, and lower stocking rate. The animals should be lower in the flock. Number of animals should be low. So lower stocking rate is important. Rotational grazing is important to control the repeated infestation. Generally, we should deworm our kids when they are 3 months old. Okay, and important thing is that you have to deworm thrice in a year. You have to deworm your livestock, your goats, 3 times in a year. This is very important. So about this, I'm telling periodic deworming means that you have in a year you have to deworm your livestock, your goats, with 3 different types of anti-helminthic drugs. This is called periodic this deworming. Then strategic deworming. So suppose you are, besides this periodic deworming, if you find that you have in a flock few animals, they are affected. You can affected with they have poor body conditions. You are feeding them. They are not gaining the weight. At that time, you can go for the fecal sample examination. You can see which type of parasite is on the basis of the eggs, and you can diagnose, and accordingly you can give the anti-helminthic drug in only those affected animals. That's called strategic deworming. So this is the chart. I can see there are different types of anti-helminthic drugs that we normally use in our livestock. So in case of goats, I am telling you, for example, trematodes are there, liver fluke, as I said, liver fluke. Mostly those goats which live in the marshy or low-lying areas, so they definitely will be having this infestation, liver flukes. They will be affecting the liver. Okay, so immature flukes will be there. The drug of choice for that is triclobendazole. This is the drug of choice for the immature flukes. So you can give this drug when early spring, when during February you can give this drug. So this is the one. The next, after in late autumn, say in May, ending May, you can give another anti-helminthic drug, say febendazole. That will be effective against the roundworms. So you don't have to give only one type of drug. As I said, you have to give, because we have 3 different types of parasites, parasitic infestation. So we need to give 3 different types of drugs. You cannot give only one type of drug and say, okay, it will cure everything. That is not possible. So this is, if you in February or early spring, you have to give the drug against the liver fluke, that is triclobendazole. Then in late, say in the May or in the late autumn, you can give febendazole, or that will be effective against the roundworms. Now, and the third is cestode, the tapeworm. So you can give this drug, anticestode drug, like praziquantel, oxychloroquine. You can give that in the month of November against the tapeworms. So this is all about. This is all about the deworming. That is, you have to deworm your livestock thrice in a year by giving 3 different types of drugs against it. Okay, now coming to the ectoparasites, we know that there are ectoparasites, there are mange, there are ticks, different types of ectoparasites are there. So it has been seen that ivermectin was given, but it has been developing the resistance. These ticks and these mange, different types of ectoparasites, they are developing resistance against the ivermectin. So there are other drugs available in the market, like duramectin is there, moxidectin is there. They are more better drugs than ivermectin presently. So you can, during spring and autumn, you can also give this ectoendoparasitic drug if there is, you find that there are ectoparasites affecting your livestock. Then another important is coccidiosis. This is another important. This is a protozoan. This is very important, that affects not only the poultry and rabbits, that also affects our cattle and the sheep and goats. So kids and lambs particularly. So you can give the anticoccidious drugs like amprolium compounds, sulfadimidines, or furizolidones. You can give these drugs in the late spring, say late spring or early summer, say May and June. You can give these drugs to protect your animals against the coccidiosis. This is very important disease, and the mortality is very high in coccidiosis. So thank you very much.